Hi guys, these are Ivo and Christian, and today we want to explain how WARIGIN works and what you can expect in terms of in-game mechanism. So actually, what is the goal in WARIGIN? In WARIGIN you have the factions from Heaven, Hell and the Void, and all of them felt really comfortable in their corner of eternity. But at some point, one of the three factions will say, okay, I really want to conquer everything. So what we have in WARIGIN is a 2 versus 1 situation all the time, because we have one attacker who acts as the challenger, and on the other side you have the two now allied factions. So basically you win the game if you conquer one of the enemy fortresses. To prepare the game, you have a really short bidding mechanism, because we have to find out who will play alone as the challenger. To do this, every player receives 9 of these so-called action cards, and in addition we have another 9 action cards. Is good. We have another 9 action cards that are lying in the middle of the board. Based on these action cards that you have on your hand and that are lying in the middle, you can decide if you want to play alone, if you want to challenge the 2 other players. There's also some help inside the manual which explains what is a good starting position to play alone, or when you should basically team up with the other player. So after a very short bidding sequence, the result will be that one of the 3 players is the lone player who challenges the 2 other factions. So in this specific case, just imagine that none of the players wanted to play alone with none of the cards, not with 1 of the cards, not with 2 of the cards, not with 3 of the cards. But finally, the player who's playing the Void says, hey, I really want to conquer everything if I get another 4 of these cards in the middle. So for example, we have a really nice lightning strike here. We have a Pathfinder which allows you to move further. We have a Swamp which allows you to force the opponent to skip his next movement phase. And here we have a Truce, which allows you to move really close to an enemy unit, because no unit is allowed to start a fight until your next turn. So the Void takes these 4 cards that they requested during the bidding sequence, and now all factions put their units into their home territory. Basically these are the 8 fields which are around the own fortress. And in addition, the challenger receives 1 additional unit that he can put into the middle of the board. As you can see here, we have units which have no sign, and we have units which show a crossed sword here. These swords indicate this unit as a hero, which has a higher battle value once a battle starts, while these are so-called soldiers. They just fight with 1 of the battle cards or with 1 of the dice. So why do I say with 1 of the battle cards or with 1 of the dice? Because you have 2 different options to battle. The one is for a really fast match, so in 1.5 hours you have the chance to do as much as 6 matches, and also to use the inter-match scoring system to find out who is the best WARIGIN player in your round. So for this case you use these dice, while on the other hand, for players who want to have a little bit more bluffing, I want to have a little bit more tactics in the battle itself, then you can use these battle cards. Every player has 6 battle cards on his hand, and then he can decide if he wants to play a high value battle card or to play a low value battle card, depending on the current situation, and if he thinks that this is a really important fight right now. After determining who is the single player and after deploying your units, the match starts. The match starts always with the challenger, who draws 1 of these so-called event cards, which is valid for all players until the next event card is drawn. In this specific case we have something called event called necromancy, which means that disjointed heroes come back, respawn under the active player's control. So what happens next? After having these event cards, we also have one-time events, like for example the poison, which immediately kills one unit from every faction, or the crusade, which gives a buff of +4 for the soldiers in this specific case. And now it is the turn from the single player, which is the void in this video. So actually, what options do I have as the lone player? I have 3 action points every round, which means that I can either move 3 of my units for one field, or I can play one of my action cards and move 2 of my units for one field. So basically 3 actions for the single player, that's it. Then it's the turn for the first allied faction. In this case, Heaven. Different from the lone player who has 3 action points, the allied faction always have 2 action points, which means either they can move 2 units for one field, or they can play 1 card and move 1 unit for one field. After this is done, it's the turn from the second allied faction, and then we get a new event card. But how does a battle start? This is also really easy in WARIGIN, because you simply start a battle when moving one of your units onto a field which is occupied by an opponent unit. In this specific case here, it shows that we have as the attacker hero, indicated by the 2 swords, against a normal soldier, and at the same time I also play this corruption card. So you always play first the action cards, then you move. So I play with this action card, which gives a -3 battle fire to an opponent unit, which means that in this case I either have 2 battle cards or 2 dice, and the opponent has a -3 modifier. In this case it is 7. The opponent can only throw 1 dice, which means that this unit will be removed, shown to everyone, and then it's out of the game, goes back to the player's supply. You can see the concept or the moves itself. They are really easy to learn. It is 3 actions, this is 2 actions, it is 2 actions, then we have a new action, a new event card. What makes this really important for you, that you also have some defense, because there are cards like the Rebels, which allow players to cause havoc behind the enemy lines. You can buff your own units, you can play the Choose, which basically allows you to move very close to the enemy fortress, and you cannot be attacked. In this playing action cards and moving your units, your concealed units, because the enemy doesn't know what kind of unit he's up against until the fight starts. This is a really interesting and also exciting game, which allows you to have very close 2-to-1 faction wars. So even if we play with 2 players only, then the single player is playing against the other player who takes control over the 2 other factions. Really well balanced, especially also because of the bidding mechanism. Yeah, I really hope that you get a very short understanding how WARIGIN works. We will post a playthrough in the next couple of days. So I'm really excited. What are your questions? Do you like the idea? There are so many things that I can tell you. For example, about the EDT effects from the action cards, which are only usable for the single player. I can tell you about different combinations which work really great between the event cards and the action cards. I can go into more detail about the comment cards. We will do it in an upcoming article or video. Thank you very much. I wish you a great day. Bye.